Okay, everybody, today is Saturday, August 31st, 2024, the day before September, and I am starting a brand new series where I start the day on r/games to keep you and me updated on everything going on in the world of video games. Let's see what we got. So I'm thinking there'll be a lot of news coming out right now because we got PAX West going on as we speak. I think today is probably the third day. Usually it starts on Thursday. I already saw this top story. Hideki Itsuno is leaving Capcom. Let's see what we got going on here. I have an announcement for all my followers. At the end of August 2024, I will be leaving Capcom after 30 years and 5 months. Thank you for your long-term support of the games and characters I have been responsible for. I hope you will continue to support Capcom's games and characters. From September, I will start developing a new game in a new environment. I hope to create fun, beautiful games that are as memorable as or even more memorable than the ones I've created so far. Please stay tuned for the next creation. Hideki Itsuno. Maybe starting his own company, just maybe wanted his own space to do his own thing. Perhaps wanted a little bit more freedom. Itsuno is known for games like Devil May Cry and Dragon's Dogma, so definitely a well-known figure in the games industry. The interesting thing there is those are really well-known IPs that he probably won't be able to work on anymore because they're owned by Capcom. So maybe spiritual successor in the works, or just has new ideas he wants to be going off on his own to be working on. Okay, next up we got Concord is estimated to have only sold 25,000 units. Here's why analysts think it's failing. I mean, there's been a lot of stories coming about how this game has not been performing well. Not a lot of players. They lost like 90% of their players after the first day, which, you know, already wasn't that many. So there was only like a couple hundred people playing it at one time. Long queue waits because of that, which, you know, multiplayer game. You need people to be playing your game when it's solely based on multiplayer. So, I mean, just another statistic to prove that this game has not been succeeding. I did see this post as I was opening up r/games today, and I'm not super familiar with Wizardry. It's a name I've heard before for sure. I kind of got into video games late in my life, and so definitely never had a chance to play this series. But Wizardry is, I mean, it's so well known that even someone like me who started playing video games more like Skyrim, you know, I started playing Pokemon like when I was in high school, and that was kind of like, I guess, my first jumping point into video games. I still knew about Wizardry. Now, I'm not super familiar with Andrew Greenberg, but I can only assume, because of the fact that I knew Wizardry, even though I had never like seen the game before, but I knew the name, that he has a huge place in the world of video games. And so someone like him passing away, it's a big hit. It's a big hit for sure. Let's take a look here. So Wizardry came out in 1981, and they even have a game most recently that came out in 2023, which is pretty crazy. Here's Andrew's name. One of the first role-playing games for a personal computer. Doing a bit of research, it seems like they're not releasing The Cause of Death as of yet, but all I can say is a huge hit to the world of video games. Thoughts go out to his family. I hope everyone is okay. Borderlands CEO says his hopes on Epic Store were overly optimistic or misplaced. After years of exclusivity on the Epic Store, Borderlands 4 is back on Steam, and Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford shares some candid thoughts on the Epic Game Store as a whole. Interesting. Okay, so I recently started playing Borderlands, and I got it. I got Borderlands 2 on Steam. Back in 2019, Gearbox shocked PC gamers by announcing that Borderlands 3 would be exclusive to the Epic Game Store. Okay, I need to open up Steam here real quick because I am pretty certain I saw Borderlands 3 on Steam. Okay, Borderlands 3 is definitely on Steam right now. Release date March 13th, 2020. When did Borderlands 3 come out? September 13th, 2019. Interesting. Okay, so it did eventually come to Steam, but a whole year later. That is interesting. So it was a timed exclusive, I guess, or maybe the plan was it to be only on the Epic Game Store, and then eventually they were like, no, we need it to be on Steam because this is not working out. I'm going to read through this article for you, and I'm going to give you a bit of a summary here. Okay, here is my understanding of this whole article. Definitely worth a read if you want to go over here to tweaktown.com. Pretty short, so if you want to get all of the information, definitely check it out. But my understanding I'm getting here, there's a quote that Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford said that I knew about, but actually only knew the quote. I didn't know it was connected to Randy Pitchford. Again, latecomer into the world of video games. So he had declared Steam that it was going to be a dying store in 5 to 10 years. And his hope was that the Epic Game Store was going to be one of the reasons why Steam was going to be a dying store. He is unhappy with how much Steam takes. Their cut of game sales, he says, is not worth what the platform provides, which is really interesting. And so that's why they invested so much into the Epic Game Store, thinking that it would be much better deal for their company, as well as maybe even a Steam killer. That did not happen, though. I mean, while Borderlands 3 still sold just fine, I mean, obviously Steam is a juggernaut that's here to stay, and they realize that if they want to get all the possible sales out of their game, they got to put their games on Steam, and they're going to still have their games on Epic Game Store as well. So just kind of interesting that the guy who's like, Steam's going to be dead in 5 to 10 years, is now coming back to Steam, posting Borderlands 4, and it seems retroactively posted Borderlands 3 onto the platform as well. Borderlands is a really interesting topic right now in my mind. A lot of things going on with this game / movie. I'm actually going to probably be putting out a podcast. I'm going to be updating my podcast, which I haven't in a while, pretty soon, with a conversation with a friend of mine about Borderlands. So stay tuned for that as well. All right, let's head on back over here to r/games. We got a review for Star Wars Outlaws. I've been hearing a lot about this game. I've been hearing a lot on both sides. I've been hearing good things, bad things. I mean, maybe not bad things, maybe more mediocre things, but I've been hearing good things too. So I'm curious to do a lot more research into this game, maybe do more of a long form thing on Star Wars Outlaws. We'll see how that goes. I think we still have a lot to hear about and see as more and more people start playing this game. All your faves on the way. No characters off limits for ballooning Marvel Rivals roster. Interesting. No character off limits, but they're already saying it's ballooning. This game isn't even out yet, right? It's coming out in like December. Yeah, this game is coming out in December. They're already calling it a ballooning roster with over 9,000 unique and multiverse adjacent characters spread across 84 years of rich narrative history in the Marvel Universe. NetEase certainly, I don't feel like this is the right word for that. NetEase has its pick of the litter, and even better, they definitely plan to use them. Executive producer said recently in an interview, no characters off limits. We have to pick the ones who are fun to look at, different, and fun to play. Fun to look at, that's kind of funny. I mean, that's not wrong though. You got to have really cool looking heroes to play, ones that are just like, oh, that's a cool picture of a hero. That seems interesting. I want to play that. So I'm looking through the article. I'm not really seeing where they're talking about the roster ballooning. I mean, we have this quote here. We had so many characters to pick from, which is a good thing to have. The Marvel Rivals producer said with choosing characters, but it leaves the devs with a lot of considerations to make about who should be part of the roster and who fit both in terms of who they are, how they fit in this world, and the lore. I don't know. It's interesting that they use this word. As a journalist myself, I feel like this word has a lot of connotations. It's like I mean, the game isn't even out yet, right? And they're already talking about the roster being too big. That's what this word means to me. It's already a huge roster that's overly large, that's hard to fit things in there. And I don't know. I'm not really seeing that connotation in this article. I think they're using it as just the possibility of it getting too big, maybe. Interesting to see. It's cool that they're already thinking about that, though. Maybe I think that's one of the main points I'm getting from this, is that the developers are already thinking about, like, okay, we got a lot to choose from. We got to take some considerations and make sure that we're picking heroes for the right reasons. Dragon Age Veilguard Q&A details from official Discord. Don't really have the time in this video to go over a Discord Q&A. If you have interest in Dragon Age, definitely go over and check that out. I mean, Veilguard is a game to watch right now. Still a little while before it's coming out, but definitely a lot of hype over that series and that game specifically. Yakdur plays new Atlas RPG metaphor. It's so stylish. I almost wet myself. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, definitely looks like this is a brand new game, new IP. I still might be wrong. I'm about 80% certain that this is a brand new game. I'm gonna have to look more into it to really make sure I'm on top of this. But JRPG, creators of Persona, maybe not. Let's see. It was like 3, 4, 5. Okay.
How long is the?
Yeah. So not all of Persona, but it definitely feels very Persona to me, at least. Art style is very similar. Definitely looks like a fun game, turn-based JRPG. You know, always going to be an audience for new games like that. First Borderlands 4 concept art revealed at PAX West, showing off a glimpse of its new worlds. All right, it looks like this is the concept art right here. Okay, definitely very Borderlands-y. That's pretty nice. That's pretty cool. I like that style a lot. But this is okay, this is concept art. You got to remember that. This is concept art. It's always going to be interesting to see how it changes going into the game. But cool, very stylish. Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition, the final update video number 10. I do not like scary things. Definitely not going to be playing this one. Have never played any of the Silent Hill games, so this one ain't for me. But you know, I'm obviously a lot of people excited. For people who have never played Silent Hill before but like scary games, it's always good when you get these enhanced editions or updated HD editions or whatever to maybe get some new people into the series. Astrobot trailer. Some people kind of excited about this game. Let's go ahead and give this a watch. A lot of people excited about that game. It's funny how they go from basically a tech demo to what looks like a freaking full-fledged game. Really fun looking game too. Puzzles and platforming. You got maybe upgradable weapons or something, or like at least unlockable weapons, different characters maybe you can like collect or you can play as them. Man, so many things going on in that trailer. It looks super fun. I wish I had a PlayStation 5. All right, we got a new Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom trailer here. Let's go ahead and give this a watch. Looks like this is maybe a bit more detailed than we've already seen. Don't necessarily need to watch this whole video right now. Yeah, just some really cool information about traversing the world using the ecosystem to get around. Definitely things we've seen before, but just in more detail, it looks like. Super stylish game. Love how they're using the sort of top-down style, cartoony style, but still really cool detail and really stylized. I like that a lot. Black Myth Wukong is the 4th biggest PS5 single-player game of 2024. I saw this headline already. Kind of crazy what's going on with this game. Definitely revealing a lot about the power of the Chinese market, which I think a lot of people in the video game world already knew. But just crazy to see that even a single-player game, not just a mobile game or like a collection game, can really thrive when being sold in China. Looks like we're starting to get posts that were from a day or 2 days ago. Kind of scrolling through just to see if there's any big headlines, highlights that are worth pointing out, since this is, this is the first one. I want to keep this kind of in the more recent headlines. Baldur's Gate 3 publishing director says almost all games should cost more at a base level because they cost so much to make. I mean, I get that. I get it for sure, especially games like Baldur's Gate 3 or other single player games where it's like you are just buying it once. You either make money from selling a lot of units or having the unit cost more. So it's finding that balance where you can get both, where maybe right now with a $60, $70, maybe even $80 game, you're kind of just relying on the number of units sold rather than the actual price of the game. Okay, I'm scrolling through here just trying to see some headlines from the last couple days. I'm seeing some things here and there, but I am trying to keep these videos primarily to the most recent headlines. As I continue this on, I'm only going to be looking at really the last day's worth of headlines. It is today on r/games, not the last few days on r/games. I just figured because this is the first time and I haven't done this before, I should at least kind of see what's been happening the past couple days. But I really appreciate you checking me out, coming and watching this video. If you are someone who wants to stay up to date on everything going on in the world of video games, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell so that you get notified when I upload a new video. I'm BTOK. This was August 31st, 2024 on r/games. See you tomorrow.